Welcome to the Chamber Vibes podcast with your host, Brittany Timmons, the Greater Guthrie Chamber of Commerce CEO and President. In this podcast, you will hear from local guests who will discuss topics such as leadership, small business, and our vibrant community. You'll also hear success stories and tips from amazing local businesses, dive into important news, meet community leaders, and find out how you can get involved in our community. From the Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful and historic downtown Guthrie, America, here is Brittany Timmons.
Hello, everyone. I think it's still okay to say Happy New Year.
I think so.
This is the first Chamber Vibes for 2025. So happy to be back in studio. And I am here with my friend Alex Evers. Did I get it right? I know, I kind of did that on purpose. Evers. Yes, because he complimented me that I got it right before the show. So yeah,
that is correct.
I did that on purpose. I really did. Anyway, Alex is with Meridian Technology, and so excited to have you on the show today. He is currently doing Leadership Guthrie with us and learning more about Guthrie and diving in. And so we're going to talk about your side of Meridian. We've had Kara Adney on before, and she highlighted the film industry and classes and programs that you guys have going on there. But good to touch base with you.
Well, I appreciate it.
And highlight another thing. I mean, there's so much.
We do a lot. There's a lot more going on at Meridian than people realize.
You do a lot at Meridian. And so, so we, you and I were kind of talking before the show that, we're so... I cannot say it enough. I say it all the time, and I will continue. But we're just so lucky to have Meridian in Guthrie. Meridian's been a partner with Guthrie for a long, long time, as far as with the schools and the chamber and things like that. But a couple of years ago, we got to open our very own campus here.
Nice, brand new campus.
I know. Yeah, in studio, it's a green screen. But here, for you guys.
I was going to say, we're on site.
We are on site. We are out right now in the cold, as the cold Arctic air is blowing in. Anyway, it's a beautiful spot. We're happy to have it. I was kind of joking with you earlier that for a long time we stared at the sign, that said coming soon, on Division. And then, the chamber, I was with the chamber whenever we got to be part of the groundbreaking ceremony and the ribbon cutting and all of that. So now we're a couple years in. You guys have seasoned that place.
It's great. And there's kind of two buildings. Not a lot of people realize that because when they're driving by, you see like the one big building in the front, but there's a very important special building in the back called the Business Incubator. And that's where I'm hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. So the Business Incubator. So let's talk about that. What is that? What do you do there?
Yeah. So we're a state certified business incubator, and that comes with a couple different perks. But essentially what we're doing is we help startups get going. So sometimes that's a tech startup and there's some intellectual property or novelty, something like that. And sometimes it's somebody that is using our kitchen space, or they're packaging something, or they have an online retail business. Whatever the case is, they come in, they kind of hang out with us. We talk about how to get that going. If they're not to the right stage yet, they're just trying to figure out their idea versus we need to lease somewhere.
Right.
And so we kind of get them to where they need to be. And then if it's appropriate, we have office spaces, we have R&D, base spaces, and then kind of come in and we help them get going. And then ideally, it's kind of an economic development play, so that hopefully after they've been with us for 1, 2, 3 years, something like that, and they can kind of stand on their own 2 feet, things are going well, then we can connect them with the chamber, and the chamber can go, there's some beautiful buildings out here. And we can fill some spaces, and it's good for everybody. Creates jobs, creates taxes.
We would love for them to incubate here in Guthrie, and then while they're here, fall in love with our community and not leave.
Exactly. That's the whole goal. That's the whole goal.
We'll let them fly away, but we would really rather them not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As soon as they're not utilizing our help to help progress their business, which isn't a bad thing. Once they're to an area where it's like they don't need us, they graduate. That's exactly the terminology we use. They graduate out of the program, and then we hook them up with whoever they need to find the right spot.
Awesome.
And sometimes they need, not sometimes, generally they need multiple connections. So it kind of takes a village. So maybe they need help with hiring. Okay, great. Who's the person in town for that? Maybe they need a specific building. Okay, who are the real estate people that we need? What connections do they need with the chamber? What kind of banking? Exactly. And so while they're doing that kind of incubation process, that's kind of part of that program. So they'll sit down with me or Brad or Erica or Chris, and we'll just kind of talk those things through. And as they need that help, we provide that to them.
Yeah. Okay. So how many spaces do you have available? Or let's talk about
that's a fair
not what's
question.
available right now, but like how many can it hold?
That's a
As far as
great
business?
question.
You have
So
offices, you have the
yes.
you have the warehouse type.
Yes,
space?
yeah. So it kind of depends because we're very scalable. So a lot of times when you're starting the business, you might need one office, but 2 years in, hopefully you need more space. And so if you need to get another space, you can. That's totally great. Or maybe you start bigger than you thought you needed and you can scale down depending on all those kinds of things. So we're very entrepreneur friendly in that. I've signed probably 7 commercial leases in my professional life. And it's always like, oh, you got to sign for 2 years. And if the business doesn't work out in 2 years, well, you're in a lot of trouble because you're still on the hook.
And that's why
that's not the case with us.
Right. That's why that's such a beautiful thing. And there is an incubator in Stillwater.
Yes.
And so part of Meridian's vision was to say, well, let's do this at South Campus too here in
It's
Guthrie.
been very successful in Stillwater. And so that's why we included it in the building of the Guthrie campus. And so we house something like 11 businesses out there. We have one office that'll be available soon.
Okay.
But that's
So you're
really
pretty full right now.
Right now, we're at 100% capacity.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean we can't meet with people, we can't help people, because everybody has different needs. So maybe I personally own some martial arts studios. I don't know if I've ever told you
I knew
that.
that.
So I own some martial arts studios. A martial arts studio is never a business that would go into a business incubator. We don't house businesses that clients come to. Like, say it's not like a retail shop. People don't go.
Right. They're not coming to get their hair cut.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so, but somebody that has a martial arts school or some other business like that can still come in. They can utilize our conference rooms. They can talk with one of our business consultants, and we can still hook them up with resources. It's not, oh, you're not here, we're not interested in helping you.
Right.
Again, we're here for economic development. So if there's a downtown Guthrie, anywhere in Guthrie, and they want to just come in and they've got, I need a new piece of equipment, but I don't know how financing works. It's very confusing, or I don't know how insurance works. We would love to sit down with them, talk about it, walk them through it, and then when they're feeling comfortable, we can introduce them to 4 or 5 professionals around town, and they can kind of take it from there.
Right. Well, and we kind of had a cool thing happen. Like, we'd already had the show scheduled, but earlier this week, I had somebody email the chamber just to info@GuthrieChamber.com. We have a form on our website that says, I need information. And so those emails come to my inbox, and it was an individual that said, I'm looking to start up a business. Is there a need for this? And how do I get started? And I just hit forward, Alex. And I loved that because one, I knew I could probably answer some of his questions because of what I do at the chamber, but I love that, like, I instantly knew, like, we have this partnership and you're going to be the perfect person. And so, Alex responds to me and is like, this is perfect. This is exactly the people that I want to talk to. And so anyway, and who knows where that will go, but I just love that we have that resource and that connection, and we're able to at least try to help an individual that reached out to
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the huge values of the chamber is that you're a huge connector, because
so we try.
I don't know where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to talk to? And it's like, well, if you talk with Brittany, she can get you the right person.
Well, and that made me feel good too, just because they knew to go to us, to our website, and to get that. So I love
I'm meeting with him on Monday, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Love it.
so he's got a small business idea, and where do we go from there?
Right, exactly.
Is it a bad idea? Is it a good idea?
Right, and that stuff's scary, I mean, that is scary. It's unknown, but I mean, people do get things placed on their hearts and their minds, and they have gifts and talents, and it's like, is this going to flop? Is this going to take off? Is this going to work?
Yeah.
And so having you guys right here in our community to be able to say, hey, let's talk, let's look at what we have to offer. And kind of to piggyback off of that, as far as, you have the incubator, but then South Campus has all these adult classes that people can take in the evenings. And there's a ton of resources there too, like Excel and, Canva and, business courses, QuickBooks, things like that.
Yeah, before I started working at Meridian, I didn't even realize how many things were available.
So
because there's
the catalog's like
there's there's things like, it's just a kind of a special interest. I'd love to go do this baking class. That sounds like fun. But then there's so there's all kinds of just like really fun stuff. And then there's career development type stuff. There's specific skills stuff. So, I never really thought about it because I'm not in construction. But if you're in construction, there's all these different safety classes that you have to take every this many days. And it's like, where do people do that? Oh, they do it at Meridian. I had no idea.
And it's fairly, inexpensive. You know, it's
yes,
like, okay,
yeah.
you spend $30 and you can leave with 3 hours of knowledge about something. You know, and so it's like, I love that you guys are able to keep it so cost affordable, you know, in a trying time for everybody.
Yeah.
And the costs keep rising, you know, for everything. But that's part of, you know, the partnership that our community has with Meridian.
Exactly. And we're here for development for the community. It's not, you know, it's not lining Alex's pockets.
Right. Right. Well, I love that you're 100% full. That's amazing. But again, that does not mean do not reach out. Just like our friend that's meeting with him Monday, you know, reach out, ask the questions, because that is literally what they're here to do. And so then do you still have space if somebody just is like, oh, I need to meet a client in Guthrie, or I need to sit down for a couple hours and crank out some work on my laptop, and I'm a realtor and I don't have a brick and mortar here. Like, do you guys still have the daily co-working opportunity?
Yes, we have we have a co-working space. So in our co-working space, you have access to monitors and keyboards, tables, Wi-Fi, kitchenette,
coffee.
Bathrooms, bottomless coffee, as much coffee as you can drink. We've got it, and we love just having more people in the ecosystem, because you know, you're on your computer, somebody walks by, or you're at the microwave, and oh, hey, what do you do? Oh, my brother does this, and you know, a lot of connections can be made, especially when we're all. It's a work environment, so it's very helpful. I feel like.
So definitely, if you're looking for things like that, somewhere to land, keep them in mind, because it's super reasonable daily rates.
Yeah, and I think we do. I think we're doing $50 a month.
Oh,
for co-working.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's wildly good.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how in the world did you end up doing this? And I know you and I have talked, you're not from Guthrie or Oklahoma.
I mean, originally, correct.
You've been here most of your life.
Yeah,
but like, how did you get into this, and how long have you been with Meridian? Let's talk about your story.
Yeah. So originally, I'm actually from the California Bay Area, but I moved to Oklahoma. I moved to Stillwater when I was 10, 11, something like that. So I tell people I'm from Oklahoma, but I actually, when I graduated college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I got my degree in computer science, and so it's like, ooh, you know, do I want to do computer science? Do I want to try something else? Well, I've been doing martial arts since I was 13, and when I graduated, I thought, well,
I know this.
I kind of want to do this, but then I kind of decided, okay, if I'm going to do something crazy and go bankrupt, maybe doing it, I should probably do it at 22 instead of 55, right?
Sure.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. So I opened a martial arts school in Stillwater, and
so that was your first.
That was my first thing. I graduated college, and then we did that within 3 months.
Okay.
So I started a martial arts school, and I ended up buying the building, and we went from just martial arts. We started doing an after-school program. We were picking kids up from school, summer camps.
Wow.
And then these kids that I'd been teaching since they were 8 years old suddenly turned 18 and 19, and they're like, "Oh, we want to do this too." So then
we're not getting older.
It's
I don't
wild.
Understand.
Yeah, I'm the same age, but they got older.
Denial, because I turned 40 in May. So like, this is like the next few months, I'm like, I am not getting older. So
Exactly. So these guys start turning 18, 19, and they're like, actually they go to Meridian, they get a certificate in business or graphic design, and then they're like, oh, well, we want to open another one. And I'm like, oh okay. So I opened up a studio in Enid, and about 2 years ago, I opened up a studio in Edmond. And so
you've done from the ground up startup.
So that's how I wound up here. That's how I wound up here. So
you literally know, like, okay, this isn't just like not that
it's
like
not
getting
theoretical
educated
knowledge,
right?
Yeah.
And not that getting educated in college, you know, to help people wouldn't be successful.
Yes.
But the fact that you've literally lived it.
Yes,
it's probably super helpful.
I've hired people. I've let people go. I've signed leases. I've negotiated contracts. Exactly. Right. I've been, ooh, hey, payroll's going to be tight. And, oh, hey, we're having a great month.
As a business owner.
I suddenly have opinion on capital gains taxes. Right. Exactly. And so that's kind of how I wound up here, is when the opportunity presented itself, it was like, oh, you can talk to people about business, and that's a job. And I'm like, oh, I love to do that.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Sign me up, you know? Yeah. And so I have the personal experience. I'm from the area. Like I said, I've got martial arts studios from Stillwater to Edmond, and Guthrie's right in there. So.
Awesome. So how long have you been with Meridian now?
Over a year.
Yeah.
Over a year. And it's great.
Yeah. And you're at both campuses?
I do a little back and forth. I'm usually in Guthrie maybe 2 days a week, something like that. It really depends. The other week I was here 4 days and one. And so, it's just kind of where do I need to be? I do quite a bit of traveling. I might be in Oklahoma City. I might be at a different incubator across the state. I was in Tulsa this week for to go see the new 36 Degrees North incubator up there.
Cool.
So kind of all over the place.
So you kind of got
but we have a good network.
into it in a good way. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's been great.
I mean, I can tell you love it.
It's awesome. The business we take, because we're state certified, we get all of the numbers from all of our businesses, and we don't report any specific person, but we aggregate it, and we're able to talk about those numbers. And so our gross sales are, with all of our businesses, are up from 5 million to 20 million this year.
Wow.
We do a lot of funding. So a big part of starting your business is getting the correct funding. You might need to buy equipment, or you might need lawyers or property or whatever the case is. And so our businesses got $3.8 million worth of funding last year, which is up from 1.5. So things are going really well, and it's been awesome.
And one of the other benefits of like doing the incubator is, like you said, the startup costs, like they can save money on, because you guys provide like a copier. It's like those big costly things that they would need if they just decided to rent an office and just go.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So
when you start a
adds
business, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this thing. And it turns out that's like 40% of what you actually do. You're like, okay, now I got the building, but the lights aren't on. Now I got to call electric, and then I got to call
Wi-Fi,
gas. And you're like, all right, time to sit down on the computer. Oh, okay, I got to set up that, and I need a deposit for that. And so we're essentially set up. We have a furnished office with internet, with water and electric and coffee.
And they're allowed
you can
to
just walk in
and go
and start working.
And they can get mail there?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
We have like semi trucks that come in, because we get regular mail obviously, but then we have people that export internationally out of our facilities.
And everything.
We have people that ship to Japan.
Wow.
And so we have, all
those
stuff.
logistics, though, you guys help work all that out.
Exactly.
So let's talk about success stories. So now that Meridian is, am I right that it's 2 years? Or are we coming up on open the third year?
I think we're coming up on the
I'm horrible
third
at
year.
this. I think I argued with Chris about our city manager, how long he'd been here. I was like, no. And Chris was like, Chris is over here like looking up his news page article to prove me wrong. And he did. I will fully, I'm getting old. And so anyway.
We're between 2 and 3.
And I'm coming up on 5, April will be 5 years for me at the Chamber.
Wow, congratulations.
I know, that's a milestone.
Exciting.
Yeah,
that's
but
huge.
There's times it feels like it, and a lot of times though it doesn't. And so I'm really bad about being like, oh yeah, we just opened that like a year ago, and people are like, that was 3 years ago. So anyway, so I feel like
I'm glad it's not just me. Yeah, between 2 and 3 years in Guthrie.
I feel like March will be coming up on like starting the third year.
You actually have a better tenure than me, because I wasn't here when it opened and you were. So
I was. I have like video of me and Rebecca in hard hats
that's
walking
incredible.
around. Yeah, super excited. So I have been able to see this from like the beginning stages, which has been super exciting. But okay, so this however many years, just kidding,
some period of time has
2
passed.
to 3. That Meridian South Campus has been open and thriving. Success stories from the incubator. Anyone stick out?
Yeah, I mean, things are going really well there. We've had businesses graduate, but it's still a pretty short amount of time for if you started your business to be.
Well, they say those first 2 years are like the worst anyway. I mean, some of the hardest because you can't expect to like turn a big profit and all that stuff. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. We have. I mean, I hate to single any specific businesses out, but
right, you don't have to.
But we've had big success. We've had people going through accelerators. We've had large grant funds. We've had there's a department of the state of Oklahoma called OCAST, Oklahoma Center for Advancement of Science and Technology. We've had some of our tenants have gotten large grants to kind of get going on their tech intellectual property, which those businesses, if they succeed, end up being like large, big, highly scalable, lots of jobs kind of a situation. So things have been going very well. We still have interest. So as far as people coming in to lease space.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of a list going, but again, that's not a reason. That's not a reason not to reach out.
Kind of a slow go, just because it's so new and people are like,
thing,
what?
Yeah.
And we're in a smaller community. Being in Guthrie, obviously we're growing and we're right off the interstate, and so all of that makes it super accessible.
And business incubator isn't the most friendly term either. People are like, what is like that? With chickens? Yeah. Like you sell chickens or something?
We're incubating eggs. No, little baby business eggs.
That's exactly
little baby business
That's exactly
eggs.
it. Yeah.
And so is there a timeline? I can't remember who I was talking to actually the other day, And they actually asked me like about the leases and stuff with Meridian. I was like, well, I'm going to
you should watch the podcast.
botch this information. So I don't want to give them false information. So I know there's different lengths of leases, but how long can somebody be there? Like if their business is taking off and they are, turning a profit or at least growing in sales. Yeah. Is there a time? Because I mean, it sounds like a pretty fabulous place to be.
It's a good deal. And so sometimes we have to encourage them to go find a building somewhere else sometimes.
Is there a time? Because you also don't want to be like, okay, well, 20, however much,
it's been exactly 2 years. We'll see you later.
Right.
It's been real.
So what does that look like?
So that's a really great question. It depends a lot on the businesses. We have a couple different kind of guidelines, I guess. So generally what we're looking at is 1 to 3 years. We definitely have people that go over that from time to time. Okay. So
it's very situational.
It's very situational. Okay. It's how much are they participating in the program. So if it's just Brittany scans her fob and she walks in the door and everything looks the exact same and she leaves and I haven't heard from Brittany in a while and there's no new jobs created, there's no new growth physically.
Okay.
Whenever we do sit down, you're not hitting the goals that we've been talking about, things like that, then we're like, hey, maybe it's time to kind of move on because they're not utilizing our services anymore.
Sure. And you definitely don't want people taking advantage of.
Which it would be easy because, like we discussed, it's a really great space with a lot of opportunities, and so that's kind of how it works. It is on a per business basis, but if you're continuing to grow,
just because that doesn't maybe give them a fear of like, okay, well, if this doesn't do X, Y, Z, like I think it's going to do, then I'm not going to maybe get kicked out.
Exactly. And we're very entrepreneur friendly, so. Like I said before, a lot of times when you sign a commercial, exactly. Yeah. But like I said before, I've signed a lot of leases, and those leases a lot of times are for 2 or 3 years, and it's like, oh well, hey, bummer, your business failed, but you're still paying that lease. With us, if the business doesn't succeed, so we do a 1-year lease.
Okay.
That it's renewable, but let's say 3 months in, it's not going the way it was expected. Your intellectual property is not actual intellectual property. Somebody else is already doing it. Whatever the case is, we have a 30-day out.
Okay, good. That's amazing.
Oh, your space, a bigger space opened up that you want? Cool, we'll sign a lease for that space and we'll just get rid of this one. Yeah. So it's very
And you really are there
malleable.
to guide them every step of the way.
Exactly. Yeah. And if I don't know the answer.
You have a couple
Correct.
Of
yeah, so we have a 4-person department. So it's me, Brad Rickelman, Erica Pereira, and Chris Bayer.
Yeah.
And so each of us kind of has a little different expertise, different connections. But if we don't know the answer, we can find the answer. So if you want, I'm a woman-owned business. I'm 51% women-owned. There's a certification for that. I don't know how to get you certified, but I do know Kathy Curtis at the Commerce Department. And I will get you her email. I'll introduce you. I'll do a nice warm email loop. Okay. And you'll have that information at the end of the week.
Awesome. Very cool. And then the incubator at Stillwater, is it a little larger, about the same size as Guthrie?
It's about double. So in Guthrie, we have 11,000 square feet. In Stillwater, we have about 25,000 square feet.
And how long has it been open?
1997.
Oh, wow.
It didn't originally start that big, though. It was maybe 15,000 square feet, and then it was full, and they needed to add some more space, so they extended it out.
It's been so successful.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the nice thing about it being from 1997, that's when the building was built. The program started in 98. But the nice thing about that,
you did do your homework, Alex. It's impressive.
But the nice
thing, years than I am.
But the nice thing about it is you can see the track record. Up here in Guthrie, it's a little tougher because we've been open for two and a half years. We can go back. Okay, who was in business in the incubator in 1999, and is that business still going? We have had some pretty large companies come out that are Stillwater based that do very well and have created a lot of jobs in our community. And so it's nice to be able to go back and look, and it's like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Creating more of that.
That's awesome. So cool. Well, our producer wanted to make sure that Britt got the right info. And so Meridian, 3 years open in April.
Hey.
So I did say three.
Between
Start
2 and 3.
3 years in March. So I really wasn't that far off. So yeah, I guess the ribbon cutting was probably early April, maybe. Anyway, yes, and I always like to add, whenever I get to talk about Meridian, we obviously have a wonderful partnership with Meridian, with the Chamber, and have for a long time, well before I was here, well before the growth of the Chamber and all of that through the Stillwater campus, because our Guthrie Public School students can enroll as sophomore year. Is that correct? I think so. Junior year. junior year, they can enroll and take classes, and they actually get bused from Guthrie Public Schools to Stillwater for those classes. And man, just seeing the list of classes that are available for them
so many things.
Amazing.
There's so many things.
There's so many things. I was mind blown when I went with Leadership Guthrie to the Stillwater campus. I knew like, okay, yeah, it's a, career tech school. They're doing good things, and then I get there and I'm just like, whoa. And so I'm pumped because next month, your class, we get to go there and just see all of the amazing things that are coming out of Meridian.
So like I said, I'm from Stillwater originally. And so I remember, and it was either junior high or high school. I think it was in junior high maybe. I got to go to Meridian. It must have been high school. I got to go to Meridian and I got to they were like, well, what do you want to do? And you got to pick from this huge variety of different things. And I got to go learn how to do masonry work, which maybe isn't for everybody, but I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Because I showed up and they were like, okay, now you grab this and you do this and you do this. And then 30 minutes in, I'm like, oh, I actually built something. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. My 8th grader knows how to make sushi thanks to base camp. She has gone the last 2 summers. She will not miss. As soon as that enrollment comes out, I am one of the first moms.
It's so popular.
So cool. It's first. I'll give a plug for it, but 7th through 9th graders, they will bus them from Guthrie South Campus. It's only for 3 days. I wish it was for weeks because Hadley would go. But she went going into 7th grade and then going into 8th grade, and then so she has one more year. Will be this summer. But getting to learn they get to learn 3 different classes in 3 different days. And she came home, and I'm like, you know how to make sushi from one day, at Meridian. And she came home with all this food. And she also thinks she knows how to do hair and nails, but she's started. But,
The cosmetology program is crazy popular.
It's just so cool. I was being funny, but truly how much she learned in, a 6-hour period was just mind blowing. And then she did I think she chose some criminal investigation type stuff too. She got a mugshot, so that was terrifying and cool all at the same time. And fingerprints and all this stuff. And so I just being a mom and knowing that we have those resources is just amazing. And that truly is, I'm just going to say it, that's our tax dollars at work right there. Yeah. I mean, a portion of our property taxes goes to Meridian. So if you have kids in any of the schools in the Meridian district, use it in some way because it is literally our tax dollars at work.
That's exactly right. That's how we're able to provide really great, amazing programs at the cost we're able to.
Same with the adult programming. Actually, even if you don't have kids and school-age kids, the adult programs are right here. You get to go to those. And so, So there's lots going on. I know that Scott did a plug at Chamber Coffee this week with the catalog. And it is thick.
I go through it. I work there, and every time it comes out, I'm like, all right, what am I going to take? Because I take classes too. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Let's see. I'm an instructor there now too.
Yeah, mixology class, right?
So I'm on the schedule for
May. I heard that was wildly popular when you did that.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm a pretty good instructor.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm excited to teach again in May. But that being said, not just myself, there's a ton of community members that are now Meridian instructors as well. I know Chase Biggs has done a barbecuing class. He is, very popular food truck owner here in the community. I know one of our chamber investors teaches CPR there. I know we've had a photographer. I mean, we have a bunch of chamber members that one of their side things they're doing now is instructing for Meridian. And I love that because you guys are also looking out to the community and being like, who's right here in Guthrie that could teach this particular skill.
Yeah. We try really hard to do a lot of surveying and saying, what do people want?
Right.
Okay, who's the expert in our community that does that?
But I love that. That you guys have, and right from the beginning of it, campus being open, it was very hey, what classes do you want? You guys did surveys and all this stuff, but then also trying to find the people right here instead of, yes, you probably have people drive from Edmond, Oklahoma City, but really, there's a lot of amazing talent right here in your backyard. And it's been fun to see those class lists and to, hear who's instructing those. Yeah.
That's one really great part of being with the career tech system also is because we can look around at all the other career techs and go, what are your most popular classes? Oh, we never even thought of that.
Yeah.
And then we can take that idea and we can come to the Chamber Coffee and go, hey, what do you guys think about an archery class?
Yeah, right.
And that sounds awesome. Okay. Okay, maybe we should start that. Or, all these different ideas. We can look around with the career tech system as a whole in Oklahoma and try a bunch of different things.
I mean, we're even utilizing it. Heidi in our office, she came to me and said, hey, I want to be better at Excel. Can I take the Excel class, in Stillwater? I'm like, sign up, know, I mean, those resources are there. And she wants to further, her education in an area that, she's learned but wants to feel more confident in. And so, I love that. And so we're going to go to Stillwater that day. And then I told her we'd go together because I'm going to pop into
You guys should tell me when you come in. I'll give you a tour of the incubator.
I will. We're going to pop into some chamber investors while we're there. So anyway, tons of resources at Meridian Tech. Incubator doing good things. It's super exciting. I love to hear that you're full. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And keep sending us emails and we'll connect you with Alex if you have an idea in mind. And it starts with that. I mean, just a simple idea. There's no wrong answers. There's no wrong ideas, It just having that conversation, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of times people get kind of worried about the hurdle of like, oh, well, I got to figure out this and this and this and this. It's like, oh, just give us a call and we'll sit down and we can talk it through.
And maybe it makes
sense, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes sense, but instead of for this thing, maybe it makes sense over here.
Right.
And so it's very low pressure.
Yeah, awesome. Well, super exciting. Did we cover everything there?
I think we nailed it.
There's so much. So do want to do a plug also that February the 6th is our annual chamber banquet.
Yes.
We're going to have a lot of fun. Oh, and on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, there's 3 very handsome fellas on the screen there at Meridian at last year's chamber banquet. I think, no, 2 years ago. That's 2 years ago. That's 1920s. I can tell by the pinstripes. And Chris's jacket changes every year, so we'll see what he comes up with.
I'm excited for this year.
For the 80s. Right. And those 3 men right there on the screen, this was their idea for the 80s. So
they don't mess around about dressing up.
They better bring it, is all I'm saying. Yeah. No, we're excited. We do get silly and fun, but in all seriousness, it is a wonderful night of celebrating the previous year, all the businesses and the school, the city, everybody that makes up Guthrie. And we do it at Meridian South Campus. And so we do ask that you get on and buy tickets for the event because we do a lot of planning and it's coming in fast.
It was so much fun last year.
Yeah, we're excited about it. And we're, again, just so lucky to have Meridian and the beautiful facility. I mean, just the screens, like everything.
The screens are amazing.
They're so amazing.
I want to watch a movie on
those. They take our banquet to like a whole new. I do too. I'm like, Scott, can we have a movie?
Can we just rent it and watch a movie?
Can we watch the Super Bowl at Meridian? I have asked him that before. Anyway, he had to come in and let us in on a Sunday. He's probably not going to do that. So anyway, no. Also, I do want to say, keep Meridian in mind if you're a business owner and you're needing a place to hold a training, have a conference, whatever it might be. That is what they do. And so give them a call. Scott is the campus director. He can tell you, yes, that fits for us. No, it doesn't. But if it's something for business development, that's what they want to do. They want, you guys want us using your rooms.
Exactly. We don't want it empty.
Facility, right.
Yeah. And everything is very modular. So you might think, oh, my event's too big or my event's too small. Well, we can probably cut it up. We've got a giant hall and you can cut up into 4 different pieces. We've got breakout rooms. We've got classrooms. Yeah. We host all different kinds of conferences.
I got to host a group from the Oklahoma Chamber of Commerce executives. So each year, that organization that our chamber is part of, they put on a Chamber Management Institute class. And it's because Chamber World, just like everything else, is always evolving and changing. So that class, it starts in August, and it's like just 3 or 4 sessions. I think it's 4. But that's for new chamber CEOs that, like me, I didn't do chamber work before I was with our chamber.
Yeah, you got a lot to figure out.
A lot to figure out. And then also maybe it's for new support staff at a chamber. So they can take this short course, but kind of learn a crash course in like how to run a chamber. And it's everything from like dealing with a board to, accounting help to whatever it might be, and planning events and things like that. So they wanted a Central Oklahoma location for last year's class, and I was like, me.
Guthrie's great.
And so I was super excited. I got to host it at Meridian.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it was about 30 chamber folks from across the state, and I got to bring them to Meridian. So
that's incredible. And we have all the AV. We've got the monitors. We got the coffee.
For lunch. It was great.
Yeah, we work with a bunch of different caterers. It's great. That's what we do.
And if you have a catering business or anything like that, then give them a call because they would love to add you to the list. You got to do some paperwork, but get you on their certified catering list, and that way they can help promotes, because I know you guys love that. You're like,
exactly.
Local businesses, that's what we want to do.
Exactly. That's exactly the case. And so we'll have people that'll come in, they'll say, oh, we want catering. We'll go, okay, great, here's the list. Wouldn't it be great if your business was on that list also?
So definitely. If you do any sort of thing like that, let them know. But check out their meridiantech.edu. Did I get it right?
That's
okay,
it.
check out their website. It's there on the screen for you too. If you want to click on Alex's wheelhouse, it's there under business and entrepreneurial services.
It's a mouthful.
But
we're right there.
It's right there. And then also there's the short courses are the ones that we referred to as far as the adult programming that our South Campus has. And then the full-time programs are there as well. But everything from medical field to film industry to business startup to business development, everything. And so definitely check that out. And they're here to answer questions. So just let us know. You can let us know at the chamber or contact them directly. But we're looking forward to it. Another great year with Meridian and hosting lots of great events there with you guys. And
we appreciate it. We appreciate you.
And continuing to support and see the incubator succeed.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, ma'am.
Else? Okay. All right. Hopefully we got it all, Dr. Major. We hope so. There's so many good things to talk about with Meridian. So, all right. Well, thank you for hanging out with me,
Thank you for having
Alex.
me.
Yes. Again, give them a call or give us a call and we'll connect you. So we will catch you next time for another episode of Chamber Vibes. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Chamber Vibes podcast from Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful downtown Guthrie, America. Be sure and check out a new episode every other Monday. And until then, remember to choose Guthrie.